falter. There he goes.
Where are you going?
He's doing monkey things.
What do they do to the game?
I'm getting.
I'm out of healing.
Let's attack him then.
Go fund me healing.
Go for me.
Okay,
What'd you get?
okay, no, come on. Platinum 3!
That's such a joke.
Overwatch. What did you do? Something happened to this game. Something that not a lot of people talk about, especially with the new rivaling game. This game's kind of just been not really talked about, I guess. But it's a game I think a lot of people take for granted. When a lot of people see this game, they think, oh, classic 5v5, fighter game, really annoying. I want to explain to you the story, at least to my knowledge, really quickly. And before I do that, I want you all to take a look at this game as, it's become a pain in the ass, confusing, a couple too many characters, and I just want you to throw that all away. Just throw it all away for a second and just think of this game as a story for a second. Just a story. So, without further ado, I'm going to explain to you the beginning story of Overwatch. Overwatch's timeline is set in the future. They have bases on the moon. They have technology beyond anything we've ever seen before, and they're even experimenting on super intelligent gorillas. At one point, humanity decided to build an AI, or an artificial intelligence, known as the Omnic. You can essentially think of that as an android or a robot or whatever. Things were going well, making the Omnics essentially just made as a new kind of person. But somewhere down the line, bad Omnics started getting made. Evil ones. Ones known as the Bastion. You can think of the Bastion as a war machine. Think of it as a Terminator, but built for war, with a gun for a hand and a mounted machine gun on its back. The world goes to war with these machines. Countries start building ways to defend themselves. Russia builds piloted mechs to defend them. Germany funds something known as the Crusader, which is people in large suits of protected armor to protect their soldiers. And the USA decides to go the Captain America route and do genetically enhancing on their soldiers. At one point, the United Nations gets involved, and they decided to collectively put their best soldiers together to make a team known as Overwatch. Ana Amari, an Egyptian sniper, Gabriel Reyes, and Jack Morrison, two advanced American soldiers, Torbjorn Lindholm, I think I'm saying that right, an excellent weapons designer, Reinhard Wilhelm, a German crusader. The team goes to battle against these Omnics, and after some time, they come up in victory. Once the battle is over, they decide to recruit more people, like combat medic Angela Ziegler, or otherwise known as Mercy, an ace pilot Lena Oxton, otherwise known as Tracer, and Winston, a super intelligent ape. At one point in time, Gabriel Reyes is put as the leader of something known as Blackwatch, which is essentially a covert ops. Blackwatch did things that Overwatch never could. They had similar goals in mind, but Blackwatch would cross any lines needed, involving killing and torture and other horrible things. The main four of Blackwatch was Gabriel Reyes, as I told you about, Jesse McCree, or now known as Cassidy, a badass cowboy, Moira O'Diorain. I'm probably saying that wrong. I'm just gonna say Moira, a master of genetic engineering, and Genji Shimada, Blackwatch was essential to fighting Talon, an evil terrorist group. You can kind of think of them as like Hydra in Marvel. Unfortunately, after a certain mission, the secrets of Blackwatch became public to the world. People were shocked and scared. The UN eventually came together and they decided to disband Overwatch, making all actions and missions illegal. The heroes were all disbanded and Overwatch HQ was left to ruins. Some time has passed. The world has gotten more deadlier and more dangerous. But after an attack on one of the Overwatch bases by Reaper, aka Gabriel Reyes, Winston decides to rally up the heroes of Overwatch and go help the world. Old heroes and new heroes reunited together. And that all led up to where we are now. Except the story of where we are now has gotten inconsistent and weird. There's a whole bunch of things I didn't even mention, but like other certain characters. But there's some characters that I don't even know where or when they fit in. Like Ilari, Juno, Venture, Mauga. I have no idea who this is. Hazard. I've literally never seen this guy before. Or even Lifeweaver. All these characters once had some reasonable entrance to the story. But it seems like at some point they just gave up on the story. They didn't care anymore. And I think the reason for that is I think the developers of Overwatch wanted to become more of a competitive game. Wanted people to get into it. So they started nerfing and changing characters, but the whole reason Overwatch 2 came around was for the story. They wanted to introduce a PvE, player versus entity, game mode, which was essential to the story. Now, at one point they did introduce it, the Invasion bundle, but that was only 3 episodes. And I think it was unfinished. I know it was unfinished, but I don't think they put that much time and effort into it, and they just gave up on it. They gave up on that, and now it's just a fighter game. They left the story behind. This story, if you go online, you do your research on this game, there is so much more. I gave you a tiny fraction of the story, but there is so much more. There's so much more story and lore to these characters that I didn't even mention. And this is movie level storyline. This game could have been turned into a movie. And yet now I don't think it can. Because Overwatch is not known for the story anymore. Overwatch is known for the game. And that is what deeply upset me. Because I would really like to play this game. I'd really like to be the best healer duo again. But the game, they don't really care about doing the characters right. They're just adding new characters for the sake of adding new characters before even balancing what was. At one point, they brought back Overwatch Classic. Now, I'm not an Overwatch OG. Okay, I'm not. If you want to, tell me I'm being nostalgic, I wasn't there for pre-Overwatch. But I know it was good. I went to Overwatch Classic. Every character was unbalanced. But it was because of that what made them balanced. Because they're all equally unbalanced, it just equals out. It cancels out. But it really came down to just how you played as them. But this is just supposed to be just a fun game to play. But it's become more competitive. I don't know. This may sound weird to say, but I think some people understand is playing unranked feels more competitive than competitive. Because people just want to play unranked. And the reason for that is because they can't compete in competitive. So they play unranked to feel better. Because, oh look, I am winning. They may not be able to win in competitive, but they play, oh look, see I'm winning and I'm ranked. I'm good. But then it just makes it harder for new people to come play. Because it's well, now I don't have a chance because, I can only play unranked. I don't have the option to play competitive yet. And it's well, crap. You can't play. The reason why people hate this game so much is because of that. There was story, there was lore into this game. That's why people loved it. And it's just a casual 5v5, casual capture the point, casual push this wall with a robot. Like, look, if you click on a character, it says over here on the right side, like Soldier 76, currently the target of an international manhunt. The vigilante known as Soldier 76 wages a personal war to expose the troop behind Overwatch's collapse. That's kind of interesting, but like, where does that go now? It's like the biggest slap in the face of a to be continued possible. Games like Fortnite, Call of Duty, GTA, they don't need to put lots of effort into their game. Like, Fortnite could just stop updating the game. GTA could just never release the 6th game. Call of Duty can just keep re-releasing the same game over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And people will complain, but people will still play it. I think that's what's happening to this game. Is people just complaining, but they're playing it, and then at some point, they're just gonna stop. I hope somehow the developers get this message, whether it be from me or someone else. I hope they really get that and really listen to that. Because this game had so much potential. I hope you'll either look at this game a little differently now, in a good way, and not hate it because it was a terrible game, but maybe remember it because of how fun it was. Because you need to admit it. Just like really look back. Like, if you quit this game, really look back. You had fun playing this game. It may have changed, and that may be because either you just gotten worse, and I'm sorry, that happens with a lot of games people quit. People just, they're not as good anymore, so they get mad and leave. I mean, that's what happened with Fortnite. Like, when they released OG mode, people were so happy, but then the lobbies were so incredibly sweaty. People got mad at that. And the reality is, because you've been away so long, you lost some skill. You got a little rusty. If you were one of the best players of the game, you would have felt great, you know, getting a game with like 16 kills, or like playing this game and like winning 5 matches in a row, ranking up, getting like 20 plus kills per game, 0 deaths. You'd feel amazing, right? You would feel great. However, the reality is, for some people, even that can't fix it. Even that can't solve the problems with this game. And the thing is that the spark of the story and the love that the developers gave this game is gone. I hope you at least remember this game well. I hope maybe you give it another try. I might give it another try, we'll see. I think it's fixable. It is. Like, if they just... Now, what they could do is weird, because I think one of the things that this game could use a little better is balancing. There are some characters that are obscenely useless. Not a lot of characters get used ever. Some of the newer characters have like tons of abilities, tons of really cool abilities. Some of the older characters have like 3 abilities. So a lot of the characters are very different from each other, and not just gameplay wise, but like some of them's like, okay, I have like 2 abilities. Without them, I'm screwed. So I'm like, okay, no matter what, I can just spam all my abilities. So they're very different in that way as well. And the problem is they just keep adding characters. So I think if they just out some of the characters that, you know, have been in this game for a while and they're kind of either garbage or useless or broken, kind of just throw them away. Like, in my personal choice, just do it to these characters. So there you go. And I got a smaller list of people to work with. And if you really want, you could throw out Sojourn, Kiriko, Junker Queen, and Ramatra. However, I know Ramatra holds a good key to the new story, and I know Sojourn holds a key to the story as well. I don't personally know much, you know, storyline-wise that Kiriko or Junker Queen holds to. So maybe if they feel the need to throw them out, they can. But I'm not I'm not against keeping them if they think that's a good idea. It's like a harsh turn, and they have to take a risk that some people may not like. I hope they get that message, and I hope they really think of what to do. So, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and a Merry, Merry Christmas.